Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Terry with Holding Your Space, and this is Donna Norris.
Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
Donna. How are you?
I'm terrific today. Having a
Yeah.
great day.
Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So Donna's been on before. You guys recognize her, I'm sure. She's got an amazing channel on YouTube, and she's an animal intuitive and a spirit intuitive and a medium. And what else are you doing now?
I'm a holistic healer. I've been doing that for a number of years, but it's kind of taken a back seat to animal communication and psychic and mediumship. But I am currently working toward a holistic healing certification in soul health. So I'll be talking more and more about that as time goes on. It'll be a couple of years in the making, this certification, but it's a wonderful way to help people integrate the soul level. Sometimes there's a soul level cause for things that are going on with
Oh,
us,
yeah.
and so we'll be able to get in touch with that easier and better.
I love that. I didn't know you were working on that. I just kind of love
Mhm.
it. And it's soul level intuitive.
That's the
And
name of my channel, and
right.
but this is a soul health certification in soul health healing. So
Wow. So are you working with like shadow work? Are you working with a combination of mindfulness and health, or is it
yeah, it's a combination of science and intuition, and like most Western medicine just wants to treat the symptom. They just treat the body. And then when you get into psychology or into metaphysics and spirituality, you understand about, the mind and intention and all of that. But both of those are actually within the greater soul of each one of us. We're souls coming here to have an evolutionary experience, but nobody really integrates that part to a real in-depth degree. And so this will encompass working with Akashic records, working with past life trauma, and determining whether what's going on is present life, past life, or a combination, and different things like that. So and
wow.
there's all these different branches of soul health that kind of resemble like the tree of life. If you look at that, tree of life that we see all the time,
Yeah.
each one of those branches is a part of our soul, be it financial or emotional or psychological or sexual or physical. And, all of those branches play a part in our soul health as well as our mental health and our physical health. So trying to integrate all three
That's so beautiful.
from
I
the
love that.
holistic standpoint. Yeah.
We do a lot of tree work in the meditation tribe, and I think that the tree people are amazing. The roots and the branches and the core, the trunk. It's so important,
Yeah. As above, so below.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm gonna say hi to a few people here. Hi, Amy, Warrior Princess, Jen B.
Oh,
Hello
Barbara.
again, and Janet DC. Hello again, my friend Barbara. Welcome, 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 everybody. And thank you all so much for being here. Paul's here again. And Diana, oil painter. Hello, lovely. Um, Diana's amazing, amazing energy. And Mangled Unicorn. Hey, girl. How are you? So, welcome, everybody coming in. Hypnicity. Um, oh, this is interesting. Paul says, I've heard a long time ago by my grandmother that when animals go to the afterlife, they can talk like we do. Is that true? Oh, okay. I'm going to post this and put it on our thing, honey. And,
That's
um, and then we're going to get to that. We're going to talk first, about PTSD and trauma, and how we store it and how we hold it, but also about, how our animals also in kind, hold on to that trauma and PTSD. And and I thought that would be a great thing to do with you. So I'm so glad you mentioned it because it's been huge right now, that everybody's, talking about it and working on it. And hypnicity, happy birthday. Hi, Elizabeth. Oh, that's nice. And Sally. So, yeah. So you want to start on that or?
sure, sure. Well, you know, PTSD is definitely a real thing. Some of it comes from past life, some of it's from this life. And I'm not really thinking in terms of that today, but just about, we're all experiencing it. We all have experienced trauma at one point or at least in our lives, some of us more than others. And so have our animals in many respects. You think about, for example, with people, near-death experiences, that's usually associated with the trauma that sometimes it takes time to get over. But animals have also maybe had that in their past. Sometimes, minority status it plays a role in a person's trauma. And there are also like breeds of dogs, for example, that are stigmatized. So and it can work against the person or the animal until they, figure out, or their person figures out how to help them work through that. And, the signs aren't really all that obvious at first, either with people or with animals. But here's another important component with regard to animals. They come here having already mastered unconditional love, right? And they come here in a soul contract with us to be here to support us and help us evolve on our journey here in this lifetime. And so sometimes they will take on our trauma, including our physical illness or our emotional trauma, to help take that burden off of us. That's how much they love us and how much they're willing to give in this 3D lifetime. And sometimes it comes out looking really sticky and messy when we witness it. Like we witness animal abuse. And, at some level, I have to step back and remember that that animal came into this life knowing that this was a possibility and being willing to be here. That's really hard for me. And then animal abandonment. I just recently had an experience with that. And we're so quick to judge because being judgy and comparing each other and living in a transactional way is such a big part of our society in America right now that we tend to just automatically snap to judging. And it's not always the healthiest thing for us as the observer or for the person or the animal that's undergoing the problem. And if you don't mind, I'll just tell a quick story.
Yeah, please. Yeah, please.
I still wear a real estate hat, even though I am working on getting, working my way into retirement from that. But I want to be of service to the people. My clients, my past clients are still my friends. And these were past clients who unfortunately were getting a divorce. And we met with them. My partner and I met with them first in February. And the house was a wreck. The kids were not the same as I remembered them. They were much more quiet and withdrawn. The parents were, fighting with each other right there in the front of it. And the house was just a mass of unfinished projects. And after we left, I remembered that these are unfinished projects of the husbands, okay? It turns out, and I remembered this afterward, that the husband is a Marine Corps veteran. He served at the same time my son served. And my son did 2 tours in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan and witnessed some of the most horrific things that you could ever imagine. Abuse to animals, to children, using children as human shields, having to be in combat with people with a child strapped to their chest. It's just really only a monster could walk away from that and not be traumatized, right? I mean, these terrible trauma, but how our military indoctrinates them from boot camp on to be tough as nails, to detach yourself, to not, just do your job and move on. And to try to go get help is considered a sign of weakness. And men in the military, women in the military are stigmatized for going for help. And so this husband has never gone for help. And if you don't get help, PTSD squirts out sideways, as I like to say. And his attention span over the years since he left the military has gotten shorter and shorter, and his ability to complete tasks has gotten more and more difficult. And so that was just part of the equation of the reason why they ended up selling their house to an investor. There was just not enough bandwidth to get the projects done, to put it on the retail market, to sell it. And so we did that. And it was really difficult even to get him to move out of the house once we had the house sold. And on the last day, when we were about to close, he sent me a text and said, I'm unable to take the cats. Can you please rehome them? And I'm like, we've been working together since February. A little notice would have been nice. But I realized later that he was trying up until the very last minute to be able to take them. He rescued them, or they, I should say, rescued them from a barn when they were 3 weeks old, these cats. And they're now 10 years old. And they're brother and sister, but they look like they're definitely fraternal twins because they don't look anything alike. Mama got around before these babies were born. And they're super sweet. They both have totally different personalities, but they were just wonderful and sweet. And fortunately, we were able to find a temporary shelter for them, and we're trying to rehome them together, if possible, into another loving family, and they won't have to go into a shelter. So I feel really blessed about that. But it forced me to look at their trauma and what they were going through and how they responded to all of a sudden being thrown from an empty house into a cage, and why was the house empty? All of the stuff that they were going through, and in communication with them, they're just so confused, as I communicated with them. But I was able to talk them and talk to them, and they're doing a lot better. It's been a week, and they're doing a whole lot better, and they're really friendly. And one of them will let you cradle him like a baby and rub his tummy, and he just hangs like a rag doll in your arms, like, just pet me, love me. And the other one's a little more like pet her on her terms kind of thing, but they're both really sweet. Anyway, there's, that kind of stuff that comes up, and we see it, and we sometimes judge, and there's usually always a story. I mean, we all have a story.
Right.
We don't let people see.
Yeah, definitely. Judgment is a huge thing right now. And I think it's real easy to judge. And then on the other hand, it's also easy to judge ourselves for judging. So it goes for full circle, doesn't it? And when we see something like that happen, we never know what someone else is going through and what their story is. So I love that you were able to look at that and really have so much love and support for them.
I think we all learn that lesson over and over again, don't we?
100% until it gets knocked into our head, right?
I know that's true for me. So I got to come to terms with that again. And I had already rehomed a dog earlier in the month, and got to come back around to some of my own issues with being triggered with different animal issues and things like that. So they come to us from not just our own pets, but what we witness and experience with other animals in the wild or other people's animals, that can teach us. There's so much there that they're trying to show us and help us learn and process through. So I just really think that, the signs can be like fight or flight. I think you mentioned that. And I have 2 dogs right now, and one of them is definitely a flyer. He will scoot away from anything. And the other one is a fighter. And he's, of course, the littlest, tiniest 5-pounder who wants to try to take on a Great Dane.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
But that's just who they are. And it helps me to see them, and accept them as they are. But, we also put labels on them, calling them rescues.
Right.
When we don't like to be labeled. I don't like to be labeled, let me just say. And I'm my scars are not my story, that happened to me, but it's not me, if you know what I mean. It's just
100%. Yeah. The stories that we tell ourselves are really, it's just karma, right? It's just being in this karmic field and in that karmic circle, but it's not really our samskara. It's something that we can change, and changing it at a cellular level too. What you were talking about earlier, what you're working with now, is so important because it does affect our cells in our body. It's totally a physical response as well as an emotional and a sacred response. So it does affect so much of us. Yeah. And being, I think often if we're being humbled for some reason, or not humbled, perhaps that's not a great word for it, but if we've been through a situation in our past, like you with your son, Donna, and that you were able to see this for what it was because you had the humility, perhaps, that you had been through that on a level of love and caring for someone and helping them heal. And it makes such a difference when we look at people on that equal basis, or perhaps on a healing basis as a healer.
Yeah. So I don't know. I try to think of things in terms of, I'm not sure. I'd call it my experience. Perhaps it enabled me to see it more quickly than perhaps I otherwise would have, what was going
Yeah,
on.
yeah. Perhaps you see it at a witnessing awareness
Right.
where
It's
we
sort
can.
of like knowing when it's mine to take on and when it's not. I let the energy be what it was, stepped out of the way, sort of like the matador with the bull. That energy kept rushing at me in the situation, and I just had to learn to step aside and try to deal with it as it was. And it was
Yeah,
not really
yeah.
mine to take on.
Well, there is a lot of energy, and we were talking about that before we came on, everybody, about what's going on the planet right now. And it's really easy to get caught up in that fight or flight response or the fear response, which on other dimensions there is not this type of fear level that we
Yeah.
have on this planet, this density, this heavy density. And you guys know that. I mean, you're all on your way and working in meditation and healing arts and whatnot. And it's like, as we do this, we really look at things on a different level. And not that we're better, because everybody's right where they're supposed to be, I believe. They're doing the best they can for the most part. They don't intentionally set out to fail.
Right.
But we're on a process. We're learning and we're discovering. And as we do so, it's like, not to judge people on the other side, because they're coming to us and you're holding the light for them all around the planet. So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's a huge, huge job that we've come here to do.
It is. That's one of the things that drew me to your channel before we ever met, was the name of it, Holding Your Space.
Oh, thank
Yes,
you.
that's what we're here for.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
And
we are. And we forget what a huge job it is, I think, and how important it is for everybody on the planet, because they need to know when you're going through that fear-based mentality that you can come up to somebody and see them, and you can see their light. And people do. They really do. It does, and I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying, because I have my moments where I need to go find somebody, and God knows I'm so lucky to have all of you here because we talk about it in the mornings. But it's really important to have that base that you can go to and maintain, I think, and draw in. So yeah, I love this. So we talk a lot about somatic healing in the tribe. We have the last several months or maybe year, and shaking. And animals have that tendency, like if they get wet or they see something that scares them, they'll shake and they'll get it out of their physical form. And I think that's huge that we can get in and let go too in the mornings and shake a little bit, shake your tail feather. And it does make a difference, because I think we forget about the physical response of fear and how that sets up that trauma base into our somatic, our psoas area, which is connects your top half of your body to your lower half of your body. And you call it stemming, Mangled. I love that. And releasing. I know I went through a lot of like spiritual development and a lot of emotional work. And then I found a worker that worked with the body healing. And that was a different ball game for me. And that was fun. And it's a good release. Um, yeah. So, all right. Well,
sometimes
do
it's
you?
just rewriting old tapes. I call it BS, belief systems. You know, we have to shed belief systems that no longer work.
I am going to borrow that, belief systems and BS. That is the best ever, Donna. I'm in love with that. Yeah.
Our animals can do it. We sometimes expect our animals, I think, to handle PTSD like we do, which a lot of times the way humans do it is to stuff it down and tuck it away and suck it up and, just power forward, and animals can't do that. You know, number one, they don't have the power. They're not wired to go back and relive the past over and over like we do.
Right. They don't, do
They
they?
stay in the present. So
Yeah.
that while they may be triggered by something that happened and it's a physical conditioning response, they don't live in the past like we do. So
Yeah.
the
Do you
best
think
thing
they
we can
don't
do is help them
judge?
condition.
Do you think
Pardon?
they're do you think their judgment, like, I feel like they're so unconditional that they don't really judge us, like, if we left them in the car for an hour, which people do, and I don't, but, people do. They they don't judge either as much, do they?
No, no. Certainly their higher self never does. Now, occasionally in the 3D animal, they may get their feelings hurt. And I have the little one, especially, will look at me over like this, just, you hurt my feelings kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, um,
That's it never lasts. He just
right,
wants
yeah, I
to
get in
get
trouble when
lost.
I come home and I've been gone, and
Yeah.
Tyler gives me the what for, but Medusa, they adapt to the environment. I love that. They really do, don't they? So,
They have to communicate with us any way they can.
yeah,
Sometimes it's expressive. Some animals are way more expressive. Some dogs way more expressive than others, and cats too. Yeah.
that's
We've
what
all gotten the what for by an angry cat, or at least those of us who have had cats.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zeppelin sure is, and Tyler just had a big lump that fell against my door when I was talking about him, and a big sigh, like, "Oh my god, not me again." I know
Yeah.
when, and it's interesting how they all come in and they have different roles to play in our relationships. I
Yeah.
know when Tyler was a baby or a puppy, he would come in and, my husband had brain cancer, and he had a lump on it here, a brain tumor. And Tyler would lay on top of his head any chance he got. Like if he was sitting on a chair, he would crawl up to the base or the top of the chair and just lay against it. And
Femininity.
yeah, yeah, they're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, really interesting. All right. Well, we've got a lot of people coming in. So welcome, welcome, everybody that's coming in now.
Thank you for
And
being here, y'all.
yeah, yeah, Christina, I'm so glad you caught us too.
Oh, hi. Good to see
Yeah.
you.
So let's go ahead and get started. And do you have anything else you want to talk about before we do?
No, I just wanted to touch on that. We're coming up on the 4th of July, and I personally was in a refinery explosion. And even though it was over 35 years ago, I'm still really jumpy about sudden noises. And I can't go to air shows because of, the way those engines or whatever you call the jets backfire. They sound like gunshots.
Yeah,
Fireworks can do that too, and echo. And so, we have our animals live from vibration, and many of them get really triggered. So, yeah, I wanted to talk about that. So,
I
thank
love
you.
that. Yeah, no, I love that. We unfortunately have a lot of gunfire in our neighborhood. Um, our city has that, and it's it's one of the reasons that we might move because my daughter was at the parade for the Chiefs a couple of years ago where there was a shooting. So
Yeah.
it's something that our whole family is kind of sensitive to, as you would be,
Sure.
and you should be anyway. But yeah, it is scary. I've never liked the fireworks, the big bangs. I like the sparkles though.
I love the light. Yeah.
Right? Yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, Paul, if you're still here, Paul says, I have heard a long time ago by my grandmother that when animals go to the afterlife, they can talk like we do. Is that true? She had a trip to the afterlife before she passed, and thank you.
Oh, awesome. Um, I think that's a beautiful experience when we get to have that kind of NDE where we get to experience a little taste of what it's like on the other side and then come back. Um, I love to hear people who have had that experience tell their story. But it is true that because we're formless when we leave, and as the animals explain it to me, we're all formless, in the spirit realm, and we all communicate telepathically. We don't really use our voices. We don't have vocal cords in spirit. So they come back to us, they can emulate, from spirit back here to us through telepathy, what their voices were like. I can, when I'm doing mediumship, and you too, probably, you see what they look like. They can present an image that we can perceive, but they're not in their soul doesn't necessarily look like the body that we would know them with. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
yeah, they can definitely talk like we do. They talk like we do now. We just have to train ourselves to be able to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. They are already um, speaking to with telepathically and to us here. So Paul, so it's once you get so that you can touch base with them and hear them, and that's different for everybody, right? Everybody has different clairs and different senses, physical senses that you're more adept to. Like you might smell things more than you see things, or you might feel things, or you might know things. And as that develops, we develop it with animals as well, whether it's birds or pets or water. Some people are really good at feeling waters and what the water is like, and the healing of water. So with everything, there's telepathy, don't you think? Or
Yeah, it
sentient?
all has energy.
Yeah,
Dr. Emoto did that amazing water study several years ago about, the impact, what you say, what your with your intention, just talking to water and how it
yeah,
changed its molecular structure.
yeah, yeah. Water is so healing. So it is really an interesting question. I love that, Paul. Thank you so much. But but yeah, in the afterlife, I feel like our pets are with us, and I know my pets have reincarnated with me several times in this lifetime that I know of. So my cat used to be my dog, and he used to be a crazy man, and he still is. So I love that. I have no problem with that. Amy. I miss my cat Bartlett. Does she miss me and have a message for me?
Well, as I tune into Bartlett, she comes in with a very purposeful stride, and it's kind of like opinionated, and has some different. I won't say sassy hands on hips, but I just want you to know that I thought you were the best mom ever, and I had a great life. And I hope you can go on and keep your heart open. So I don't know if that sounds like Bartlett, but she didn't really say. I just got corrected. I didn't say I hope. Keep your heart open. That's what Bartlett is saying. So I hope
Yeah,
that helps.
I love that. I love that, Donna. Amy, for me, Bartlett comes in and she was, I heard that song, Come On, Baby, Let the Good Times Roll. So when you said sassy hands on her hips, I was just laughing. But she's definitely bringing in that kind of energy. She wants you to have fun and have joy. And I think that's a huge message that our animals bring us is joy. And she's really in that for you and to recognize how good things are. So sometimes we look at our situations and we think, oh, this again, but opportunities are not to be missed here for joy and laughter in whichever way we can find it. So I hope that makes sense. Hypnicity turned 65 yesterday. I thought it was 25. Hoping for
We
a
did
message
that in
from,
January.
yeah, hoping from a message from her ancestors. I'm getting a
Wow.
message. Oh, go ahead, Donna.
Go ahead. I'm just experiencing a feeling.
Okay, I'm getting a message from a man. Um, it could be a female with masculine energy, and but she has short hair. Um, anyway, the way that she's perceiving it to me, and her mouth is open, so I feel like she liked to talk a lot. Hypnicity, or she had a lot of messages to give you. So I do
Yeah.
feel like she's coming forward. Are you getting her too?
I'm getting it. Well, I felt it as male energy stepping forward, and it's like it filled my heart chakra, just filled my heart space with this
Yeah.
buzzing, humming, wonderful, like that love, deep love and affection kind of feeling um, for you. And I'm
Yeah.
being shown memories, almost like going backward down a timeline, like you guys knew each other for a long time, that this is somebody you go way back with.
Hypnicity, do you have a grandpa or a father on the other side that is coming forward, or could this be another loved one? Like he is really bringing in his heart chakra as well, and there's, I don't know if it's a heaviness there, but it feels like he may have passed from the heart, or something happened to his heart.
Mhm.
Um, so let us know if
And
you
I'm
can.
also feeling a little bit of like when he was in the 3D confusion. Um,
Yeah,
it feels just like confusion or foggy headed,
yeah, yeah.
trying
I
to.
can feel that. Interesting, right up here. Grandma Lucille or Grandpa Ben. I didn't know them well. Um, well, and it could be, for me. It could be a female that's rather like um, um, has a male energy, like a lot, really in touch with her divine masculine, or it could be Ben. Um,
Cool.
and they're kind of coming in both together now that you've mentioned both of them. So Lucille's walking sassy with a little purse. She's got one of the old-fashioned purses, where you carry like so. Lucille wrote poetry. Yeah, yeah. I do feel like she's coming in with that, and she's whoa, she is bringing you a breath of life. So when spirit comes in like this, and they bring in, isn't that beautiful?
Yes, I
She's
got the
bringing you
joy
in.
too.
Yeah,
Not
the
that.
joy and love. Yeah. So she's bringing you in a gift of life, a gift of breath. And a lot of times when we exhale and we let out, we send gifts to our loved ones. So, and as we bring them in, we bring in their gifts. So she's kind of letting you know that you can bring in the gifts from her, and that she is sending you gifts. Hypnicity, are you working on a new modality? And I may have asked you this a month or two ago, but she's, your crown chakra is just like
Yeah.
throbbing with this.
They're asking too for that. She inspired such joy when from the time she came into this world, and they're talking about the shift that it created in her parents, when they became her parent, and how it changed them in a good way.
Hmm.
So this is something that it's part of her DNA, part of her karma is to be a bringer of joy.
Yeah, she's working with copper rods. Yeah,
Ooh,
I love that. I feel like she's really behind that, but she's also wanting you to take good care of yourself. And you don't have to wear tight shoes to do that. But rocket. She's talking about rocket, rocket, rocket. So yeah, I love that hypnicity. What a beautiful. They're both beautiful because Ben's right there with her. Were they married or were they separate? Um, but Ben's there too. So really interesting people.
yes.
They really love what you're working on. Be really aware of your breath. She's still bringing that in.
Yeah. She
So,
wrote that her grandmother wrote poetry too. So
oh yeah. Oh yeah. So
and so
maybe
they
that's
go
it.
into
Journaling. Yeah. Yeah. Love that hypnicity. Happy birthday.
yeah.
Um, yeah. And my mom always said when we have an anniversary, whether it's a birthday or um, the death of a loved one from what we perceive to be a death of a loved one, that's an anniversary that we can ask for something special. So make sure you request hypnicity, whatever you want. Okay, Sally would like love any communication with my cat, Mr. Boo. He was abandoned without food and water. I'd love to know how he's doing. And Mr. Boo is now in her house and very well cared for. So
I see. Well, that's good. That was a part of the equation I was wondering about.
yeah, I can kind of feel that.
That he's got a home with you. That's awesome. Thank you for doing that. So what I'm feeling from Mr. Boo is just this relaxation, not having to be constantly hypervigilant, and so fearful. It's just such a relief to feel safe. And so there's coming to you also with gratitude for that. So I hope you can receive that. He's he's still pretty independent, but that doesn't mean that he's not grateful.
Yeah. I love that.
I love the way you can draw. This just slays me every time I get to be on with you because you just draw all this cool stuff.
Thanks.
I get to be part of the audience. Like, oh my God, look at that.
So Mr. Boo came in, and Mr. Boo has his own pyramid. I don't know if you know that or not, but he's coming in with that pyramid energy, and he's getting in a lot of downloads. So it feels like he's a guide for the land. And Sally comes on the channel every once in a while, and her land has a lot of energy bodies that come through her land. And so he's a big part of that, and he's inside that pyramid. So if he walks around like a pharaoh, hey, who knows? Maybe that was a past life. Yeah, but I feel like he is definitely right where he's supposed to be, and he feels very loved. He feels like he is currently sitting in a window looking at the birds and animals. Yeah, he knows what's going on the land. He also watches you sleep. He watches everything, Sal. He sees everything. Yeah. I feel like he
can do it from a relaxed, confident state instead of one of like having to keep an eye out for problems.
So right. Yeah, definitely. I love it. I love Mr. Boo. He's amazing. I got to meet him recently, so I'm gonna put you up there, Wiki, and we'll see. And Auntie D, I'll put you in there too, dear. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Now, we'll go to Mangled Unicorn. My old boy spots Bubs. I can tell he hurts in his joints. Giving him a joint supplement. Anything he needs to tell me. He is 10ish, a Chihuahua Jack Russell Terrier mix.
As he comes in, the first thing he wants to ask for is like gravy on his food. I'm like, okay, I'll pass that on. And then when I ask him about, how are you feeling? Because he's allowing me to feel, in his spine, not just his legs, but it's in his joints of his spine, his vertebrae too. That he still wants his exercise and his walks, so I hope that helps. He would love to do that time with you. So I don't know if you guys walk together often, but that would be awesome.
She says that sounds like him. Yeah.
Oh, good.
He's bringing me in a fish, Mangled Unicorn. So, and he's talking about salmon oil.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you've got salmon oil, but but I know sometimes I'll give that to my dog or salmon skin even. And she says we still do walk. He just does it less. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that salmon oil will be something that's going to kind of coat his ligaments and his spine, like you were talking about.
Right.
Um,
But and he wants to keep his muscle tone, so
yeah.
that's why the walks are important. This is what
Yeah.
he wants. He's showing me muscle.
Yeah.
Literally, like giving me the Popeye.
Yeah. She hurt her knee in October, and I'm getting back to walking him more now, finally. Yeah.
uh, oh, you hurt your knee. Oh, yeah. Sorry to
Yeah.
hear
He
that. That's painful.
he's messing or he's showing me that there's a kid in the neighborhood. So I don't know if this is somebody that you know, but there's a kid in the neighborhood that can walk him. Um, maybe it's a grandchild or a child of yours. I don't know, or if it's a neighbor, but somebody in the neighborhood that can walk him. Um, okay. Kathy says when Terry said to talk to her past loved ones on their anniversary date, I looked at the date on my laptop. Today is the 20th anniversary of my dad's passing. Does he want to let me know anything? Um, I love that.
Great day for you to ask and ask for a sign.
He's bringing up Kathy that he's talking about judgment. So I don't know if he was. I don't know if you felt judged while you were being raised, or if, sometimes we're told to be a nice little girl and smile and don't speak or something like that. But he's saying how proud he is of who you've grown up to be and shining your light. Um, and he just can't stop with the heart, like the heart is beaming.
Yeah.
So you are cherished, truly cherished.
Really a proud dad, and he's showing me like your achievements, not just what you've done, but your achievements as to the evolution of who you are and how you've grown and how you've continued to. He feels like he always thought you were wise, even as a kid, and your wisdom is just expanding. So, he loves your beautiful mind, but is really proud of all your achievements.
She says he just wanted us poor kids to be quiet. No
Well,
joke, right?
you have more kids all the time. Oy vey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kathy, do you sing? Because he loves to hear your voice. Do you sing in the shower or sing at home? Because that brings, like, angels when they come in and they do healings. I hear them singing their healings, like in a chorus. Um, so I don't know if you sing at home in private or if you sing in choir or something, but he's mentioning that vibration is really important for you in your
Um,
heart, your
or
voice.
singing to the radio.
Yeah, she says, I sing often but badly.
Uh,
Ditto.
I
Hello.
got a flash of an old car radio.
Yeah.
Remember when we used to push buttons to change mine had like 5 buttons, your presets.
Yeah.
Had to push buttons to
Yeah.
change channel. Back when everybody still listened to radio.
Right. Yeah. AM, FM,
Yeah.
or just AM. I remember that too. I sing loud, sing proud. That's what I always say, Kathy. Um, okay.
Cute. Thank you for the question. Thank you, Dad.
Hypnicity. I had an Irish setter when I was a teen dealing with my sister's mental illness. We were inseparable. Her name was Tara. I love that, honey. Thank
Great
you.
name. Was
Yeah.
Tara a Taurus dog, I wonder? I love that name.
Yeah. Beautiful. She's still around, Hypnicity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't, is she in the physical now? Do you see her, Donna?
No, I see her in spirit, but I see her coming in and talking about how she's the communication, the bond is still there, the cord is still there, and she's still willing to work with you. If you want to continue working on, because she feels like you were felt sometimes like unseen and unheard, and this is what Torah came to work on with you in their time with you, so that you could feel seen and heard, to help you understand that you were seen and you were heard, and you do deserve that, to be seen and to be heard.
Yeah. Oh, she says she feels her. Didn't expect 2 readings. She crossed many years ago. I know, but it's your birthday.
No,
So,
for Torah. So
yeah, Emilio had this lady on, and everybody probably knows her. Her first name's Barbara. I can't remember her last name. It's not Barbara Hand Cloud, but she's a Brit. And she was talking about Atlantis, and how in Atlantis, the children would go to school with their dogs because they needed a companion, and that in Atlantean times, almost every household had a dog, a cat, and a rabbit. And the cat was the guardian, the dog was the companion, and I think the rabbit was there for love and joy.
yeah.
So I feel like she's still your companion, Hypnicity.
Yeah, and it's like, some dogs, when they come into being with us, they literally come to be our emotional support animal. That's a real thing, ESAs. And so that's their mission. A big part of their mission is to be there for us.
Yeah.
So she's still there. She helped
Yeah.
her. It's like so cool.
Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. Viviani. May I have a message from my 4-year-old cats, Bedford, Somerset, Joni, and Charlie, please? Oh my gosh. You've got the crew, Viviani.
I'm assuming they're all living. I'm hearing a chorus.
What was that ad? It was meow, 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 meow.
Meow, 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 meow.
That was it.
I can't remember what brand it was. So I get the impression that there are two who like to play and tussle together, to the point where they just to get a rise out of you. That's kind of, they think that's amusing and entertaining for them.
Oh, yeah, it was Meow Mix, Hypnicity says, yeah. Or Tea Garden says. Oh, and Hypnicity.
Thank you.
For me, they're bringing in your lips and your voice. So those are supposed to be lips and lots of energy around it, Viviani. Do you talk to them? Like, do you adore these cats? Yeah, there's a lot of love there. Do you talk to them a lot or sing to them? Because Spirit's bringing in a lot of song today for some reason. But they're talking about you singing and using your voice, and they're also bringing up your throat chakra. So they really want you to. It's like one of your healing powers. I feel like using that throat chakra.
Yeah, and meowing back at them. They think that's funny.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, they actually think in pictures, but you can also think at them with feelings and send them feelings. Like, I call them love bombs, where I just let the feelings stir up in my chest and then send it out. Those are fun too. They feel them.
They really do. Yeah, she says, I love talking to them, and I created words that I only use to talk to them. They love that.
Yeah.
There's such a great love there. And it feels like because of that, you can connect with many other species in the galaxy. That's a gift that you have, Viviani, and I know how gifted you are. So working with John and just doing what you do on your own. So yeah, that's opened up a whole new modality for you. Yeah, you
An
send them
amazing audience, a very gifted and talented audience. This is terrific.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Right. Yeah. They're phenomenal. Um, Okay, thank you,
They
Viviani.
love it. They should receive it. So thank you.
Janet DC, are animals often light workers? Casey said cats especially were. Interesting combination of holding PTSD and being a light worker.
I feel like cats, because they have such an easy time going back and forth from the physical, this 3D realm to the spirit realm, they make excellent light workers, excellent way showers because their higher self obviously sees the big picture, even though we can't see around the corner. Oftentimes, they're so able to read the energy and see things from a higher perspective, and they kind of can. They can guide us if we allow them to. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. They are definitely light workers. I mean, let's just say that every sentient being is a light worker. And we all hold light. I mean, your desk holds light, your lamp holds light. Everything has some type of sentience on the planet or in the galaxy or the universe. So they're definitely light workers.
Right. And I think, too, one of the positive outcomes from processing through PTSD is a much more compassion and much more, empathy, being able to put yourself in someone else's shoes, that kind of thing. So, yeah, it's a lot of workers have PTSD in their story.
Yeah, yeah. They really do help us with everything. And they are a different energy form, I think, than dogs. Though Tyler is really disagreeing with that right now. So because Tyler is a little bit cat too. Yeah. Um, let's see. And then we've got tea garden chicken.
Oh, hi.
I do my best to keep love and light in my home. Can I do anything else to love and support my current pets? Frankie the cockatoo, Queen Lady cat, Ruby the chicken. Do they have any requests?
Let's just see. I'm hearing a bell, like a tinkling bell from the bird. My dog is barking in response to your dog. Sorry.
Right?
There's something about the sound frequency in your home, that the overall vibration is very peaceful and very calm, but there's something that they really enjoy. And I don't know if you play music from time to time, it brings in a really beautiful frequency that they enjoy, whatever music you're playing, or if you're singing, I don't know, but oh, Frankie loves to ring his metal bells. Yeah. So yeah, that's really
Yeah.
good. That's what I'm picking up on. How about you, Terry?
Yeah, there's some energy going on there in your house. Do you have a lot of orb energy too coming in, tea garden chicken? Or it could be ancestors hanging out. But I feel like okay, they're saying your house is on a ley line and probably an intersection of ley lines.
Which
Panda
makes it.
drum, more panda drum and singing bowls. Yeah. Yeah. They love that energy, but also that you connected to the energy of the land. And so it's a special place for them, but it's a special place not just for them, but for your garden, for the animals around you as well.
Yeah, I'm hearing the tones that I'm hearing, and the melody is like something that comes from a tongue drum, or sometimes people have wind chimes that are really big, circle,
Oh,
deep, long,
yeah.
tall, and they have that resonant kind of chime. It sounds like that.
Yeah. She says more panda drum and singing bowls, exactly what you're saying. I love
Is
that.
that what they call the panda tongue? I call them tongue drums because they're round. They look like a little oval puff.
Hmm.
They've got little, what I call tongues cut out, and you tap them and they have different tones. I don't know what, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, wondered about the ley lines.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's,
well, they could be just passing through. That energy is just like flowing right through your space.
it really is, isn't it? And it's like sometimes our land can be a highway. And like you said, they can be just passing through, a
Yeah,
lot of them. But I do feel like they're really happy. And she says, yes, that is a panda drum.
cool.
I love that. Um, okay. And then, okay.
There's a guy that plays those in the park where we walk at sunset every night, and it's just so beautiful. And there's another guy that plays flute, and they just sit together and play at the park where I go to walk the dogs.
Well, the area that you live is just magical too. So Donna is on a little key in,
Little island.
yeah, little island, and it's a magical area. Tony, question: my Aunt Beth recently transitioned. Does she have a message for the family?
Boy, I'm really feeling the color pink around her. That's usually a symbol to me for kindness and compassion. And she's coming forward with um, an extended hand, as if to shake, um, or to reach out and touch. I don't know if you have felt that, or maybe whoever she was sister to in her life, who might still be living, if they felt her energy touching. And I get a sense that she feels like she didn't get a chance to tie up loose ends completely, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
So
interesting that you were talking about that. I pulled up these four beings, and they're all holding hands, and to reach out and touch, and because they are holding hands, and I don't know, Tony, if you're still here, but it feels like something about the four. So I don't know if there are four children, or she's one of four, or there's four on the other side now, and they're all together. But for some reason, that's and she's bringing up the kids. So I feel like she's around your kids.
maybe she had four kids. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She was your mom's sister, not close. Yeah. She's talking about the kids. She visits the kids. So I don't know if those are her kids or your kids, or um, your mom.
Yeah.
Hey Tanley, we are just almost done, dear. We've been here for an hour and 1 minute. Yeah, you're welcome, Tony. Oh, she
She's
was
one
one
of
of
four.
four. Yeah, and close to her two brothers. Um, she's close to your mom now too. I don't know if your mom's still on this side, but they're all together in some way. Like it might be in their dream state, but yeah, like the old ways, the old modes of knowing while they were in the physical, that's changed.
Yeah. I wonder if that's also maybe a metaphor for the soul tribe, that they're all from the same soul tribe.
Oh
That
yeah,
just came to me. I don't know.
yeah,
Can't really feel if that's me thinking or if that was spirit.
yeah. Oh, it's perfect. Yeah.
I get really caught up in being a spectator with you, Terry. It's really awesome.
Oh God, thanks. You're kind. I get caught up in being a spectator with you. Yeah. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here, and thank you so much, Donna, for being here. This
Oh,
was
thank
a
you for having me.
blast.
What a
So
great group.
as usual, we had a lot of fun. Um, yeah, she's close to your mother from the other side. Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
sometimes we have stuff that happens, right, on this planet, but when we get to the other side, everybody's like, "Ah, that,"
Yeah.
they just kinda laugh it off. So, yeah. So, what do you have coming up, Donna?
I have a Basics of Animal Communication workshop this Sunday. That's from 3 to 5 Eastern. And then what I like to do with the workshop is we go through the workshop and we're able to talk to our animals by the end of that time. And then we'll meet up again the following Tuesday evening for an hour just to trade readings with some new people. I'll bring in some guests to so that we can practice and get some feedback on, if you want to practice, that's optional. But yeah, it's a 2-hour class, and you can go to my website and look under events if you'd like to join us. We had a little bit of a foobar with my technology, but everything's all fixed now.
Oh, yeah.
We
Technology.
just ago, people wanted to try to sign up, and we were having a little trouble, but we got it fixed.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Technology has had a time of it lately in my house, too.
My
Um,
lungs.
yeah. So, please subscribe and like Donna's channel. So, she is at Soul Level Intuitive. And be sure and go over there, and I'll have that all listed in the description if I don't already. And
Thank you.
I
Thank
may
you.
have, but I may not have too. So, and please like and subscribe to my channel and this show so that we can keep bringing you more information. Donna, the time and date again, please, of your class.
Sure. Sunday, June 29th from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Awesome.
And then I think I have the practice scheduled for the following Tuesday, July 1st at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, since it's a work
Wow.
night. If people can still get into it after work on the East Coast. I mean, West Coast. We try to span the time zones, don't we, Terry? Always
Yeah.
have to think about that.
It's
So,
it's kind of tough when you don't think in a linear manner to
yeah. But
get
this
the
is a
time
really
done.
tried and true step-by-step method to use to communicate with animals. So all you need is an open mind.
I love that. I
No
love that.
experience necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we'll have Meditation Tribe again tomorrow morning. We do it Monday through Friday, you guys, 8:11 Central.
I
And
don't always get to participate, but I get to listen.
oh, good. Thank you. Thank you. It's fun, and everybody here is just amazing. Their energy that they bring to it, and how we all grow from it, from forming that circle of light and holding space for the planet. So, and each other in particular.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. We'll
Thank
see you
you
later.
all. Thanks for being here.